What a week it has been. It has been a tumultuous week of property and a lot of stuff's happened. Landlords, tenants, big discussions to be had. We're going to talk about them today and what's happening in the real estate world.
Good morning, guys. I don't know. I don't understand. 1 minute it's the weekend, the next minute it's Friday. I feel like the older we get, the faster it goes.
Fast. It whips in and whips out these weeks.
It's too quick.
It whips
Slow
in and whips out.
It's too quick.
But
here we are.
A lot jammed into this week. A lot jammed.
Yeah, it has. And also, I really want to talk at the end of this just quickly about what's going on with the real estate market. I am going to do a live on it because there's a lot of misconceptions about what's going on with the real estate market. Guys, we're actually standing somewhere really noisy, so if you can give us a thumbs up just to make sure everyone can hear us. I might bring the comments up on your little thing there. Bye. Yeah. Look, we're going to talk, as I said, it's a very, very interesting time in the real estate market because rents are up.
That's right.
There's not a lot on the rental market. It's really hard to get a rental at the moment.
Yeah.
And then the property market, we're still not seeing a huge amount of stock, but there's still a lot of buyers. We've had a really busy week of sales.
Lost a good friend.
And we lost a really good friend. We're going to talk about that toward the end, actually. I have put up a GoFundMe it's not stuff that we, usually do, but it's a really good friend of ours. And I think, any money that can go towards helping their daughter and some education would gratefully be accepted. So, it's been a tough week. It really has. Tough week.
But we sort of landed ourselves in a bit of trouble this week with a letterbox drop that we did in DY. And we were promoting, much like we do with sales, good prices in the market at the moment. Would you like an appraisal? Your price, we can get you probably more than you think for sale. We ran a similar campaign for rental.
Oh, which FYI, this is a campaign that we've run for 20 years.
Yeah.
Those DLs have been going into letterboxes, the same DLs have been going into letterboxes for 20 years. It's just, we do appraisals, that's what we do.
And the people that pay us are the sellers, the vendors, not the buyers, and the people that pay us are the landlords. For our services that we offer. So got us, a couple of people were a little bit disappointed that we were spruiking landlords to put their rent up on them.
No, hang on. No, Mark. No, that's not what we were spruiking. Sorry, no.
We
were not spruiking. That was the
Very
misinterpretation.
So aggressive.
No, but that was the misinterpretation. We do rentals and sales appraisals. We always have. That is not the only service we provide. We provide a service to tenants.
Yep.
We provide a service to buyers.
Yep.
We provide a service to the community. And I think that this time round when it landed in letterboxes, and as I said, we've been doing these flyers for 20 years.
Yes.
Since we've been running our business. We have letterbox droppers that drop, this is what we do, as do pretty much every single real estate agency on the planet. It's obviously a very, very contentious time for tenants right now in the real estate market.
For everyone.
For everyone. It's something we really just want to discuss this today.
And at the moment, I think people don't like to admit it. Like, you're not going to sit in a lovely restaurant and talk about the pain you're going through financially as a tenant or a landlord or as a human. But I think a lot of people at the moment are just really adjusting to money. And it seems like it's, interest rates have gone up, petrol prices have gone up, plane tickets have gone, like everything is just going through the roof. And it's all coming out of the one pot, which is what you're earning. And I think that if it's just a really sensitive topic, Lisa.
It's a really sensitive topic.
For a landlord,
like,
I'm really sensitive for a landlord because I just looked at land tax
I'm sensitive for everyone. I'm sensitive for the landlord and I'm sensitive for the tenant. But I want to just tell you guys a bit of a story. So we manage
story, Lise.
We manage over 1,600 properties. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there, but I think, people think landlords are just all rich people. We manage a ton of property for people that just simply rely on that rental income that they get to survive on. And in fact, we've got a huge amount of elderly people that have got investment properties or a property, and that's their pension. And I feel like there's two battlers here. In fact, someone actually wrote me a really lovely message the other day saying, the landlords, are the landlords the new battlers, was the question that they were asking, or the statement that they were making. And there certainly are two parts to this equation. There's no doubt there's a housing crisis going on. We're well aware of that. But if you have a look at where we're located in DY, rents haven't gone up on these 1 and 2 bedroom apartments in how many years, Mark?
10 years, 20%.
Yeah. But if you have a look at the repayments that people are now having to make, if you're an investor, you're a landlord, you've got a mortgage, you're now paying double the amount on your mortgage.
Or triple.
Yeah. So, and of course, everyone's costs have gone up. I mean, I look at our grocery bill and it's just gone through the roof. So, again, I think there was some misconceptions out there with this flyer. It's a flyer that's been going out for 20 years, but there's a big topic.
Why would you jack up rent when we're having such a hard time? You guys are dogs.
And I mean, look, we don't control the economy, but B, it's a tough time out there for everybody. The tenants, absolutely, of course, we are well aware of what tenants are going through. Our property managers are trying to get through processing about 100 applications per property per day. So we're well aware of what's going on out there.
But it's also
But also I want to talk about what happened during COVID, Mark, and how tenants, we had helped out so many tenants.
We think alike, Lisa. It's amazing. I was just about to say, it's also been hard for tenants through COVID. And the whole reason why...
and landlords.
Tenants, well, the whole reason why rents were reduced in COVID is because tenants were suffering hardship. And now they're suffering hardship again, so it's like a double barrel.
Yeah.
But the landlords got nailed in that hardship as well through COVID, with their work, with their lives as well, and then they had to reduce rents. Tenants suffered at that period as well, and now we're here again, and the landlord's holding the can again because everything's gone up on them. I looked at land tax lease the other day. Land tax now has almost doubled over a 3-year period. It is absolutely bananas. If you're a multiple property landlord, say you've got 2 houses as investments, say they're rented for $900 a house. If you're a landlord, about $400 of that rent was going towards land tax.
Yeah.
So about $400. That's now sitting at around $800. So a landlord is going to have to, in an area like NARRAWEENA or Beacon Hill, which is a common area around us, little 3-bedroom house, they're paying about $800 a week on land tax if you're a multiple property owner, before they've even paid the mortgage. So that's just land tax. Then you've got interest.
Sure. Well, look, as Luke's saying, there's been 9 interest rate rises there.
9 interest rate rises.
And rents in DY. Again, when you look at rents in DY,
garbage truck.
We've got a garbage truck right behind us at the moment. But when you look at rents in somewhere like DY for these 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, they haven't changed significantly over the last sort of at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Yet, for landlords, obviously 9 interest rate rises. Who the hell's going to pay for that? So there's definitely a number of battlers here in this equation.
But then they decided to put interest rates 1% higher up for an investor over an owner occupier.
Yeah.
They copped that as well. So they said, you know what? There was never a differentiation in the interest rate between an owner occupier. A property loan is a property loan is a property loan, but no, they want to charge another percent because you're an investor. Like, the investors just copped it. If you don't realise, guys and girls, investors have left the market in droves.
Yeah.
In droves.
They're only
Negative
starting to
gearing
come
was
back
the-
in.
Negative gearing was the last pill the investors were given to make life easy for them. And that was over 30 years ago when that was introduced. It's been a shit life for an investor, and there's got to be some incentives coming in for the mum and dad. I'm talking mum and dad investors to put more affordable accommodation in the grid. It's wrong.
The interesting thing was, guys, and we're talking about a DL flyer that went into letterboxes this week about has your rent changed? Would you like a rental appraisal? And we got some backlash there from tenants. But, you know, we also, and look, again, I just want to point out this is a DL flyer that we've been doing for 20 years. It's just a very contentious topic right now. But for the handful of tenants that had contacted us saying, like, actually, screw you guys for doing this. I mean, first of all, we don't control the economy. We appraise. We do rental appraisals and sales appraisals just like every other real estate agency in the world. But that certainly was not the message. But for every message that we received, there was only a handful of them, we actually received double the amount from landlords going like, well, thank you. Like, you know, our rents have stayed the same. Our mortgage repayments have doubled. Our expenses have doubled. And we've had to carry the can, as Mark said, all the way through COVID.
Look,
and
if you, I reckon in the last year, if you reckon you're
it's tough on everyone's side.
If anyone's walking around saying they don't care or life doesn't matter, they're a dickhead. Like, life's actually tougher, a lot tougher for everyone in the last year. Again, I was talking to a cafe operator the other day. He said it's harder than COVID. This guy is probably one of the best cafe operators I've ever met. It's a wonderful business. So it is tough. I think we've got to be sensitive to everyone around us. You know, through COVID, everyone was like, you know, we all got to stick together. We've all got to stick together now. And, you know, the only reprieve is we're all in it together.
And the thing
you know
is,
what I mean? Like everyone's interest rates gone up.
Oh, not just interest rates, Mark, but like petrol. I mean, you know, we don't have to tell you guys, the cost of just living at the moment is it's through the roof.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you earn. Everyone's hurting.
Yeah.
Everyone is hurting. So we hear you, tenants. We hear you, landlords.
Yeah. How do you maintain
but
that?
we don't create the economy, but we're certainly here to help.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at let's talk about what happened during 4 years of COVID. Obviously,
4.
What's that? Sorry.
3.
3 years of COVID. You know, we were there in the office helping every single one of our tenants. We were the negotiators because the government turned around and said, tenants and landlords, work it out amongst yourselves. There's no terminations. But
We're
you know,
interpreters as well. We're interpreting the market.
We were the ones that were sitting there on the phones non-stop. I think we worked out that we were getting about 400 calls a day, and it was up to us to negotiate as best we could between the tenant and the landlord any help that could be given. You know, any help that could be given. So we just, as I said, we just wanted to. We're certainly not going to harp on this. That's a flyer that's been going out from our office for 20 years. Do you want a rental appraisal? Has your rent changed? Do you want a sales appraisal? The market's roaring hot.
Could be the opportunity for a better sales price than
but
you think.
It's
could
just
be an opportunity for a better rental price than you think. It's a normal dialogue for an agent.
Yeah, it's normal dialogue. But yeah, as I said, you know, there's definitely two battlers in this equation. There's the tenant and there's the landlord.
But one is naturally assumed as rich. One is naturally assumed as battling. Pushing.
Yeah, if you look at the typical demographic of the landlord, and again, guys, we manage over 1,600 properties. If you look at the typical demographic of that landlord, as I said, the vast majority of those landlords actually live off the rent that's coming in. And so, as Luke said, 9 interest rate rises, you know, their mortgage repayments have doubled. It's hurting her. It's certainly hurting everyone. You know, what are we going to do about the rental crisis that's going on? I mean, we're one agency. We're certainly not the government. We certainly don't control the economy. But, you know, we came up with a good solution a couple of weeks ago, Mark. I think it was last Friday with you know, empty office space.
Yeah. But I think, look, I know the blame game's nice. It's nice to blame the agent for putting the rent up, or blame the landlord because they're greedy, or blame the government or the RBA. But I just think at the moment the best people I've ever seen in business are people that have the power to adjust, not the people that have the power to blame, not the people that have the power to understand where we've come from, not the people that have the power to forecast, but the people to adjust exactly where they are in that moment to the current climate. And then when you're there sort of pointing your... So I think at the end of the day, if you're a tenant out there that's struggling, or if you're a landlord out there that's struggling, the power to adjust is probably the best gift that you can have at the moment. And also, that was the same with COVID.
And also, we're not, our intention is never, ever to make life difficult for people.
No,
I think when you look at the 950 odd episodes that we've done, if you go back through all of those, it's just good, down-to-earth, honest advice and our opinions that, we hope actually do help people out there. So, as I said, we don't create the economy. Luke's actually made a valid point. There's zero incentives out there for investors. Like, first-time buyers get a ton of incentives, but there's never incentives out there for investors. Anyway.
Look, it's probably not a bad pill to drop if you want a lot of properties to drop into the grid, into the rental market. Ask investors to come into the market, incentivise investors to come to the market. It's been a long time since.
Well, that would make good sense. Wow.
It's been a long time since investors have had an incentive to buy in the market. First home buyers have, which has been fantastic.
Wouldn't that make good sense? We need more investors, because while there's no investors out there, it's going to be a tough, hard slog on that rental market.
Guys and girls, make no mistake, investors have left the marketplace in droves over the last 5 years.
Agreed.
I'm talking massive numbers. I've got the data. Even the last 10 years, 15 years, it's just been harder and harder to be an investor. So, look, I'm very sympathetic to our tenants. I'm very sympathetic to landlords. Very sympathetic to everyone who's had cost rises, and there's no one who hasn't had cost rises.
Oh, the's no one that this
situation
hasn't hurt. No one's getting out of this scot free. That's for sure. Everybody is affected here.
Anything else to talk about?
Yeah, I just want to finish off talking about our. It was a tough week. We had a funeral of a really, really good friend who actually died really tragically. He died doing what he loved, though. He went for a swim down in Bondi, and something that he did every single day. He's probably one of the fittest people, if not the fittest person that we know.
Yeah.
Jumped into the ocean and hit his head on a rock, unfortunately, and passed away very, very quickly and tragically.
57.
So, 57. Left behind a beautiful wife, really good friend of ours, and a beautiful daughter who's just 16 years of age in her final year of school. And so not something that we do very often on a personal level, but we did put a GoFundMe up I put it onto my socials. I don't know if you have yet, Mark, but and it really is just to help anything, $5, 5 cents, $10, whatever you guys can manage, just to help out Leanne, our girlfriend, with educating really Sienna, their daughter, through HSC and then through uni. I think it's just, it's nice when the community can just come together like that. And as I said, every single cent would be so grateful, and it absolutely will help.
And just on a man, and I want to talk about just Pete a little bit, what a testament of character to a human being. And you don't meet, and like so many people turned up to his funeral. And
I've never seen so many people.
No. And this was a guy that touched, like there were so many kids there that were his mates. And there was in their 15s, 20s, there was still all ages, old, young. And this is a guy that came to the country, I think Pete immigrated
back in 1985.
To Australia, so immigrant, and made so many friends. And how he did it was he helped people. He was always helping people. He loved people. There'd be at a girls' night, and Pete would turn up and say g'day, and he would just be not overpowering, very like not a
He
quiet
was
guy,
a
but not
gentle
a
giant.
just a really,
Yeah.
really nice sort of g'day type of guy. So, mate, best wishes up there where you are, and I'm sorry that you had to go. 57 years of age, Bondi
Down at
Beach, going
Bondi.
for a swim, you know. Like,
There's an area there, some of you guys might know it, there's an area there called Flat Rock. It's actually in the water as well. And he would literally just jump off there every day. As I said, it's in the water. It's not like he jumps from high up. We're actually not even quite sure exactly how it happened, but he must have hit his head there on a rock.
At his age, one of the best swimmers in New South Wales. I think he won a Commonwealth record or something. Yeah, so a really competent swimmer. Yeah. My uncle actually died the same way in DY Beach.
There's a park there
on DY Beach, on the rocks there. So it's a bit close to the heart, and it does happen. It's a dangerous. Those rocks are dangerous. So stick to the sand, guys.
All right, guys, that's it. Sorry to finish up on a bit of a downer, but just enjoy yourselves. I think that's the important thing. It really, life is so precious. My goodness me. You look at Pete here 1 minute and literally gone the next within seconds. So just enjoy yourselves. We love you guys. We hope this has given you some great info, and look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Thanks for your support, Luke, and you enjoy every breath, absolutely. See you guys. Love you. See you. Bye.